Pepperdine had a cowbell giveaway on Saturday and we missed it. The one time a guy can't make it out to Malibu. Jeez. All right, instead of lamenting my current whereabouts, what do you say we reveal the top teams in the nation? Let's bring up our friends in Division 3. Laverne rounds us out at number 10. Johns Hopkins went up to the Salem Open over the weekend and recorded wins over Mercyhurst, Gannon, and Long Island University. That was enough to move them up to the 9th spot. Both MIT and Occidental each fall one position to make room for Whittier at number 6. They took a loss at USC, but their victory over MIT was a thing of poetry. 5 of Whittier's athletes scored multiple goals against the Engineers. And I know what you're wondering, was that a haiku? No, of course not. It wasn't even 3 lines. Whittier will host Caltech and Austin College this Saturday. Cal Lutheran and Chapman seem to be firmly placed at the 4 and 5 positions. Neither team has yet to see any movement on the poll this season. Pomona-Pitzer drops back down to number 3. The Sage Hens took 3 out of 4 over the weekend, with their only loss coming at the hands of UC Santa Barbara. They dropped that one 15-8. However, they did show off their offensive prowess. Indigo Lee recorded a hat trick while Zach Whitfield found the back of the net 4 times. Pomona-Pitzer picks it up again this Thursday against Caltech. Redlands University had a weekend that was almost identical to that of Pomona-Pitzer's, but they got to keep their spot at number 2. Both teams had big wins against MIT, Ottawa University, Arizona, and Fresno Pacific. Redlands also fell to UC Santa Barbara, but with a score of 8-12. The Bulldogs will travel to Fullerton this weekend for the CSUF Invitation. And the number 1 team in Division 3 water polo is Claremont Mud Scripps. They split their weekend at the IE Classic, and they'll take on Cal State Fullerton next Wednesday. And now we reveal the national top 20 poll results. Cal Baptist, Brown, Santa Clara, and Navy reclaim their spots at 20, 19, 18, and 17. The Brown Bears completed a short trip to the West Coast. They fell to Long Beach State, but earned a win over the Bible Institute of Los Angeles, otherwise known as Biola. And Navy picked up 1 out of 3 at the Princeton Invitational. Harvard jumps up 1 spot to claim a tie at 15 with Loyola Marymount University. UC Santa Barbara and UC Davis both find themselves down 4 positions after their weekend tournaments. The Gauchos were perfect at the Inland Empire Classic, while UC Davis struggled. They took losses from the 2 ranked squads at their Aggie Roundup. They are now 0-4 against top 20 teams. UC San Diego took the transcontinental flight to the eastern seaboard, where they struggled at the Princeton Invitational. The Tritons took losses from Fordham and Princeton. Regardless, they move up to number 12. Both Fordham and San Jose State made huge gains as they climb up to claim a tie with Long Beach State at number 9. The Spartans fell to Cal, but picked up wins over UC Merced and UC Davis. Fordham continues their ascent after a comfortable win over UC San Diego and a nail-biter against the Harvard Crimson. UC Irvine stays put at number 8. Princeton falls 2 positions to number 7. The Tigers hosted a handful of skilled opponents at their Princeton Invitational. They took 4 out of the 5 games, with their only loss coming at the hands of Pacific. The Golden Bears were looking to right the ship after a loss to Pepperdine sent them tumbling in the polls, and they did just that. Cal drove over the Carquinez Bridge and made their way to the Aggie Roundup, where they recorded victories over San Jose State and UC Davis. They also did a bit of tuning up against a couple of community colleges. They moved to 5-1 overall as they prepare to host the overnight NPSF Invitational this weekend. Pacific shares that 5 spot with Cal after coming up big on the East Coast. The Tigers claimed wins over GW, Wagner, Navy, and a comeback victory over Princeton. Each team had unanswered scoring stretches throughout the game, and Princeton found themselves up by 1 late in the 4th. Both teams are Tigers, so we'll have to clarify here and say that Pacific scored the equalizer with 2:39 left to go in the game, and they went ahead with 1:35 remaining. Pacific came out on top 12-11. The University of Southern California handed Pepperdine their first loss of the season. Adam Chapo scored with 1:33 left to go in the quarter to bring the Waves within 1. However, Pepperdine would not score again for over 16 minutes of play. The Trojans went on an absolute tear with goals from Max Miller, Jack Martin, Evan Osmus, Jake Carter, and more. Pepperdine regained their composure late in the game, but this one was already in the books. USC defeated the Waves 16-10. USC stays at number 3. The Trojans continue to highlight their offensive depth by featuring 10 different scorers in their win over Pepperdine. That's not new, considering they've scored with 10 different athletes in each of their 7 games this season. USC also triumphed over Whittier and UC Irvine over the weekend. The Stanford Cardinal stays at number 2 after wins over UC Santa Barbara and Long Beach State. And the number 1 ranking in the ACWPC Top 25 remains in Westwood. The Bruins took care of business with a win over 9th-ranked UC Irvine and a rout over number 20 Cal Baptist. They'll join their colleagues in Berkeley this weekend for the overnight MPSF Invitational Tournament. Those are your top teams in the nation. Like, subscribe, and do whatever you need to do to stay up to date with Water Polo Nation. We'll see you next time.